Hello, Malcolm here, and welcome to the Sunday Sample for Corporate Worship Matters. And today we're taking another look at the issue of posture. In fact, it's our 8th look at posture, as inspired by a chapter in this book, Participating in Worship by Craig Douglas Erickson. It talks a lot about posture. We're looking today at the issue of sitting. You say, well, that's not a very interesting posture to talk about. Well, maybe not, but I think we should think more about the purpose of sitting, whether it's helpful or perhaps not so helpful. For much of church history, there wasn't a lot of sitting going on. People stood when they came to church. The idea of chairs and pews was relatively modern, we could say. So is there something is there some value in thinking about the issue of sitting? Now, Jesus sat, didn't he? He sat amongst the teachers in the temple in Luke chapter 2. He taught whilst seated, which is the normal teaching posture for a rabbi. Luke chapter 4, John chapter 8, for example. Mary sat at the feet of Jesus in Luke chapter 10 to learn. Again, the traditional posture for learning. Sitting was allowed during the delivery of prophecy in Corinth in chapter 14 of 1 Corinthians and verse 30. But sitting, for example, for praying is pretty much unknown in the Bible. I'm not sure I can think of one example where someone sits and prays. Perhaps you could find it. But instead, various other postures are recorded for prayer, from standing to kneeling to prostrating oneself, which we've talked about in earlier episodes. Sitting seems to have been avoided almost. It's like it's deliberately been avoided. Is there a reason for that? Is it that when we sit, we become passive? Is it that when we sit, we become inward focused? Is it when we sit, we become insular and don't connect so much with the people around us in a corporate worship setting? I'm not sure, but I think there's something in this. And maybe we should do less sitting for prayer and perhaps less sitting in our church services. Now, I know for some of us there are physical challenges. A friend of mine in our Watford church said to me recently, please could we not sing four songs in a row, because he's exhausted after the second or third song. And so I have to take into account, he's one of the slightly older members of our congregation, that this may be the situation. Perhaps we can give people the option to sit or stand for certain things, but perhaps a bit more standing, perhaps standing more for prayer, standing more for the word to be read, standing more for, all kinds of things, and less sitting. I wonder what you think about this. You'll notice I'm recording this if you're watching this, with my camera on a standing desk, because I'm doing a bit less sitting. This desk goes up and down, and currently it's on a higher setting, and I do most of my work these days standing rather than sitting, and I find it beneficial to my energy, my focus, and my concentration. I'm not sure how much that's got to do with the biblical issue here, but there seems to be something about sitting that is helpful at times, but it may not be the most useful thing for all of our experiences in corporate worship. And perhaps we need to be more thoughtful and mindful of when do we sit, when do we stand, and when do we do the other thing. So that's part of the point of examining this issue of posture, is to be more intentional about what we do, why we do it, when we do it in a service, what's its purpose. So I'd like to know very much what you think about this. So please leave a comment anywhere you hear or see this recording. Leave it publicly so that we can learn from each other, because we learn best when we learn connected in community. If you know anybody who might benefit, please pass the link on, hit the like button, subscribe button, leave a review if you could. I'd be very grateful. Until the next time, I hope that when you gather with all of your friends to worship our great God, your experience will be Psalm 100 verse 2, that you will be able to worship the Lord with gladness, coming before him with joyful songs, whether kneeling, prostrating yourself, standing, or even sitting. Take care and God bless.